What's going on, guys? Welcome to our live stream for today. Today's April 15th. It is tax day, actually. Today is Tuesday. We're going live shortly after 2 p.m. here Eastern. Those of you that are joining us, you can join us from YouTube, Instagram, or on Facebook. I already see quite a few people on YouTube here. So if you're there in any of those channels, you're able to interact with us. So welcome. Before we kind of jump into today's discussion, just wanted to make sure that you can hear and see me okay. So if you can comment down below whether our tech setup is working, um, let me know if you're able to hear and see me. All right. Let me see here. Yeah, we already got Linda here on YouTube asking, what is this live stream about? So today we're going to be talking about tariffs, which has been kind of the headline for the last week or two. So we're going to be talking about specifically about how tariffs will impact apparel decoration businesses, and more importantly, what you can do about it. Some of the things that you can prepare for, and how to navigate through kind of this uncertainty. So that's kind of the main topic for today. And then as we talk about tariffs, we'll also be discussing anything else that you guys might have questions on. Feel free to chime in down below and ask any questions. And then we'll also be doing a giveaway as well at the end of the live stream, which I'll talk about shortly. Okay. So if you're on YouTube, we're actually running some polls throughout this live stream. So the current one that we have going on is asking you, have you ever attended a Ricoma TV live stream before? So um, if you can kind of answer there, that'll also give us an idea of the audience that is attending currently. Let me see if there's anybody on Instagram here. No. Oh, no Instagram today. Oh, okay. All right. So we're only live on YouTube and Facebook today. So if you're joining us, head on over to YouTube. Okay. Seems like you can hear and see me fine. So we'll kind of get started. Got about 50, 60 people in here right now. Those of you that are trickling in, we kind of do this live stream every single month. Spend about an hour talking about specific things, answering questions. But in particular, this month's live stream is going to be focusing around tariffs, as the um, title says. Given that tariffs has been kind of the headline news for the last several weeks, we wanted to because we've been getting questions from people about, prices going up, or what's going to happen with kind of, the different policies and how that's going to impact equipment prices or supply prices. So probably a lot of questions that you guys have surrounding, how this tariff situation is gonna shake out. I'll kind of give you guys kind of my opinion on it, as well as more practically how to actually navigate through this time, and how to prepare to and adjust your business strategies depending on how these tariffs shake out, and how you can combat those going forward. All right. So before we jump into that, I just have two quick announcements to make. The first one is that we do have a Deco Summit flash sale going on right now. So if you don't know what Deco Summit is, which you can comment down below if you've heard about or been to Deco Summit before, let me know in the comments. But if you don't know what Deco Summit is, it is a 3-day event that we're hosting in September this year in our brand new building here in our headquarters. in Miami, Florida. And it's a 3-day immersive event where you kind of attend seminars, network, you have like different demos and hands-on training. If you have a VIP pass, you get to kind of really delve into all the nuances about different equipment, different strategies to run your business, and a lot of other things. You can learn from others, learn from experts in the field, those that are doing that day in and day out. There's like software classes with digitizing. There's equipment classes. There's hands-on training classes. So a lot of different things, and we're also showcasing some new technology in this year's Deco Summit, as well as some new product launches. So it's a 3-day event, September 10th to the 12th, and it will be here in Miami, Florida, in our brand new building, right next to our headquarters here. We're just wrapping up the 5-story building that we'll have there. So we'll kind of have, welcome, and Deco Summit will be kind of the first use of that building as we open it up. So the point I was trying to make was that there is a flash sale going on with Deco Summit. So I believe from now till Friday, it's a 3 or 4-day flash sale. You have 20% off already discounted prices, and mind you, ticket prices do go up at the end of this month. So on May 1st, ticket prices will go up. And so right now, even on the website now, you're getting the lowest prices that it'll ever be for Deco Summit tickets. But if you use the code April20, that's APRIL20. If you use the code April20 on the decosummit.com website, you get an additional 20% off the discounted prices on the website. So you get that from now till Friday, which is the duration of the flash sale. So you get about a little bit over 3 days left to get in on that if you want to take advantage of that. And John here said, we went last year and we'll be back again this year. Came with our questions to ask, and got way more than expected out of it. So I swear I didn't pay John to say this, but it's very timely that John has mentioned and commented about Deco Summit. So that kind of gives you an idea of what to expect out of Deco Summit. You come in maybe confused, maybe frustrated, maybe have some questions, and the hope is that you come out of the summit with a lot more clarity and a lot of things that you can actually execute and implement in your business to make a difference. So certainly worth multiple times over the cost of the trip itself and the cost of the ticket, because one strategy, one tip, one idea that you gain from networking with others or from attending some of the seminars can really be a game changer for your business. Many people have come to Deco Summit and been really kind of empowered and also inspired by others to kind of take their business forward, and so it really changed their lives. And so I thank you, John, for kind of mentioning that. But yeah, again, you use the code April20 from now till Friday to get 20% off of Deco Summit if you're interested to attend. All right. Now, on top of that, we also have a spring sale on our online store. So on shop.ricoma.com, we have a spring sale going on, up to 20% off of select items. And if you order over $1,000, you get free shipping. There's also, if you order like the vinyl pack, if you order over $100 of vinyl, you also get free shipping on that. So there's quite a few things on the website. You can check them out. Go to the sale tab on shop.ricoma.com and see what's on sale right now. You got like the 8-in-1 hoops for embroidery, sewing machines, belt hoops, heat presses, different supplies like pre-treatment liquid, mug presses, sewing machines to stitch on patches onto your hats or t-shirts, mugs. So a bunch of things that are on sale currently. Some of them are up to 20% off. So take advantage of that if you're looking to sell some supplies or some accessories to add on to your business. That will be going on, sure. Um, okay, so with that said, if you guys have any questions about Deco Summit, chime in below. I'll get to those when we have some moments to answer some questions. But I want to perhaps have a kind of an interactive conversation um, about tariffs, right? So if you haven't been living under a rock, you probably have heard about um, the tariffs that have been implemented, or they've been put on with a bunch of different countries, and then now many of those countries all have a 90-day pause on some of the tariffs, but still a 10% tariff is still in place across the board. And then for China, I believe right now it's like 145%. So there's still kind of some work to be done there. But essentially, tariffs is it has been around for many years, and many countries have tariffs. So it's nothing new. But certainly, this latest wave of kind of tariff conversation and negotiation has certainly kind of spooked the market a little bit, and people are also wondering, what's going to happen with a lot of the supplies, especially within the apparel decoration industry, where they're being sourced from overseas, right, and especially from China. And a lot of suppliers, whether it's China or whether it's like in Southeast Asia, they've been having these huge tariff levied on those countries. And so first off, people need to understand that you know because of tariffs, prices are likely to go up across the board for a lot of different things, and especially for those things that um, are kind of taxed or tariffs are the highest on those items, especially with like blank garments. Those you could see drastic price increases on blanks and different supplies that you will need on a regular basis for your print shop or for your embroidery business. So those are things that you certainly want to be mindful of, and um, even though you might not be, say, importing container loads of blanks from overseas, and therefore having to pay that duty, um, you might be sourcing locally from like a Samar or SNS or other suppliers that are based here in the U.S., but they are in turn importing from overseas. So it's likely that prices are going to go up because they're the ones that have to kind of bear the burden of paying that tariff when they import, and it's gonna get eaten up somewhere in the supply chain, right? Like if the manufacturer of that garment is going to eat up a percentage of that tariff, and then maybe the distributor, i.e. like Samar, will have to maybe lower some of their margins, and then some of it is going to be passed on to the consumer, or to businesses like the ones that have our equipment that might need to purchase these supplies on a regular basis. So that's kind of the most immediate impact, and depending on how this tariff situation shakes out and what ends up being, which tariffs are here to stay, which are not, it's still kind of up in the air currently, even though there's a 90-day pause, and so it's kind of on hold. But certainly there's going to be some sort of a outcome or from this tariff conversation. So it's yet to be seen what the final result is going to be. But certainly, goods that are coming from China now, I think after April 9th or April 11th, are going to have that 145% increase, with some exceptions, with like phones and electronics, laptops, and things of that nature, which doesn't really affect kind of it's not really relevant to our industry. But that being said, you as an apparel decoration business, you probably have to expect that some of the margins are going to be squeezed if you're going to have to pay higher costs for your supplies. even if you're not the direct importer, there might be secondary effects on sourcing that will cause prices to go up, and then you have to be prepared for that. That might put if you are importing directly from countries that are having currently a high tariff in place, you might want to prepare for cash flow constraints, because if once you import directly, in bulk, these supplies from overseas, once they hit the port, you are required to pay that tariff, out of your own pockets upfront. There's no like terms or anything that allows you to kind of pay it over time. You have to pay that upfront in order to get to receive the goods and take them out of the port. So if you are in a situation where you are the direct importer of these goods from overseas, you might want to consider setting aside the cash flow to be able to pay for that. Otherwise, you won't be able to get those goods, and it might be it might make the situation even worse. So certainly the shrinking profit margins are something that you want to be prepared for. Cash flow situations, if you're importing, you want to be prepared for. These are kind of the most obvious and immediate impacts from what's going to happen, if these tariffs stay in place for the longer term. Inflation and kind of like overall prices for all goods are bound to go up if a lot of the goods are being imported from overseas. Okay, and another effect that you kind of want to just be on the lookout for is that while the tariffs are still playing out and things are changing, sometimes by the minute, by the day, there's a lot of uncertainty, right? So people are unsure what's going to happen, and so no one has a crystal ball into the future as to what's going to shake out from these tariff conversations. So that's something that you want to be mindful of as well. That people there's going to be some level of uncertainty in the market. People might be hesitant or doubtful on kind of moving forward in certain situations or making transactions happen. And that's kind of the nature of an uncertain environment. And that's something that you want to just make sure you navigate with your customers to kind of understand their situation and what they're concerned about, to be able to hopefully either help them in their situation or put their mind at ease to kind of keep the business going. All right. So with that said, I also wanted to, now that you kind of know some of the impacts and what the current situation or current standing of some of the tariff conversations are, I wanted to kind of give, 3 different ways that you can kind of tackle or adjust your strategies in your business on to combat these tariffs. Whether they're here to stay or not, these are things that you kind of want to consider, so that you can put yourself in a better position for your apparel decoration business to kind of succeed going forward. So the first thing is, since I just mentioned that prices are going to go up, especially on kind of blanks and supplies, you might want to, and if you're stocking up on inventory, right, that's going to be kind of a huge burden on your cash flow. If you're importing from overseas, you have to pay the tariff upfront once you receive the goods. If you're buying locally, but the distributor is purchasing from overseas, the prices are going to go up, so then your margins are going to be squeezed. So how do you combat that? The one way to think about how to mitigate some of this kind of cash flow issue is to think about print on demand or embroidery on demand type of models, so that you're not stocking as much inventory and therefore have a lot of cash tied up in inventory, especially if prices are going up. You want to conserve some of that cash flow, especially because if there's some uncertainty. You don't want to pour all the cash into just stocking up on a bunch of supplies, and then maybe some of those things don't sell, and you're stuck with kind of purchasing all these goods at a very high cost. So knowing the kind of uncertain situation, it's better to be flexible with kind of print on demand or embroidery on demand sort of models, where you're stocking minimum stock and inventory, maybe only a couple that for sure are going to sell well, and then you have good relationships with vendors where you can get these goods on demand when you know that you already have an order secured, right? So instead of stocking up in your warehouse or in your house, all these supplies, buy them as you need them for specific jobs that you need to do, so that you can be more flexible and adapt, right, and not have too much cash tied up. So that's what I would suggest as the first point. Given that the less inventory you can have, like you can add more value with like fast turnaround times, and as long as you have a good source locally that you can get these goods from, even if it's at a higher cost, you're just not tying up all that capital by buying like 100 t-shirts and putting it in stock, even though it might be faster to do it that way. You just want to be a little bit more conservative during kind of uncertain times where you're not really sure if this is going to pan out, or if prices are going to go up higher or lower, because things are changing every single day. It's best to be conservative and conserve that cash so that you can use it in case of any unforeseen circumstances. Okay, so that's point number one. Point number two is that you can, given the higher cost, and some of that you might need to push on to your customers to kind of offset some of that increase in cost, right? Like if you bought a T-shirt in the past, and it cost you $5, but now it's going to cost you, and you used to sell it for 10, and now the T-shirt has gone up to $10. You can't really expect to sell it at the same price, right? It's going to have to go up in cost. And even if you just pass on the entire price increase of the $5 to your customer, so instead you buy it at $10 and you sell it at $15, right? So you increase the price that you sell it for this the same price as the increase in the cost. Your margins are still going to get squeezed. When you used to sell it for when you used to buy it for $5 and you sell it for 10, your margin was 50%. And then when you're now buying it for 10 and selling it for 15, even though you pass on the entire price increase to your customer, now your margin is only 33%. So you're making the same amount of dollars, but from a percentage standpoint, you're investing a lot more, i.e., $10 for a T-shirt to make five versus investing $5 to make five. So your margins are going to get squeezed, right? So and that's if you pass on the entire increase in cost to your customer. So knowing that that's going to be the reality of the impact of tariffs, one thing that you can consider doing to offset some of that cost that you might have to pass on to your customer is find ways to kind of add more value and increase your average order value. Maybe bundle things, and find ways to kind of increase the order size that your customer is going to order, so that you can offset some of that cost. You're making more revenue, and it might take you the same time to kind of finish that one transaction and be able to still make a sizable margin, because you're making up the loss of margin with more items with more revenue. So you're trying to increase the average order value. So how do you do that? There are several ways that you can do that without passing on the entirety of the cost to your customer. And one of the ways is to kind of find other ways to add more value. And what do I actually mean by that, right? Instead of just increasing the price, maybe you can increase the price a little bit, so not pass on the entire tariff increase to the consumer, but to justify that price increase, you can add more value to hopefully provide better services or better perceived value to the consumer, so that it can justify that price increase. Maybe you can have a faster turnaround time. Maybe you can add free digitizing services, or free design services with an order of a certain size. All of those things are kind of value add to the order, that doesn't really cost you much, right? Whether it's digitizing a simple design, maybe it will cost you some time, but doesn't cost you anything out of pocket in terms of cash flow. Or being able to do an extra design for free, or for a reduced price. Adding on any waiving the setup cost, right? Like those are things that's not really costing you anything, but it can generate some additional revenue if it's positioned correctly, in that your customers seeing that, oh, you're increasing this price for this item, or you're incentivizing me to order more, right, in a particular order, if by giving me this discount, or giving me this value add. I don't really like to use the word discount, because then it's kind of like you're discounting the revenue that you're gaining. But instead, you can add in like free things, right? Free stuff, so that the consumer is thinking that this is much better value, and it's for the same price, so that they can in their mind justify, oh, why did your price go up, because of these tariffs? Well, I'm also adding more value to what I'm providing, right? So instead of just providing the same service, I'm giving you digitized services for free, or I'm giving you free rush order, or free faster turnaround time. All of these kind of like intangible, non-monetary kind of incentives can justify the price increase, and it can incentivize them to order more. Like you can be like, oh, you can get a free 2-day turnaround time if you order above a certain size of orders, or a certain dollar value of orders. That can incentivize people to kind of meet that threshold. And on a per item basis, you're also increasing the cost because of the tariffs, but the consumer is able to kind of swallow that, because they feel that, oh, I'm getting the free, the faster turnaround time, or I'm getting the free digitizing service. Those are just some ideas on how you can think about adding value in your order to help increase the average order value. The other part is think about bundling, right? So instead of just selling items on a item by item basis, on a singular basis, you can bundle different things, so that that increases the order value, and then it might make it can offset some of the price increases, because if you just sell one item, yeah, I might have to pass on the entirety of the price increase to the customer. But if I sell 100 of the same items, because I'm making it up with more volume, you're offsetting some of the cost. I can be a little bit more aggressive on the price, so that I don't have to add on the entirety of the cost increase to the order, to the end user. You can then kind of be more thoughtful and strategic in how you add on the cost when there's a certain volume in play, right? Because you're offsetting that with more volume. So that's something to consider as well. Bundling, adding value through different types of services that doesn't really cost you anything, but is higher perceived value to the consumer. And all of that can kind of offset and justify some of the price increases, and help with your margins as well. Okay. Lastly, speaking of volume, this is also something that's related to that. But you want a way to, especially during higher costs, and especially higher input costs, like your supplies, like your blanks, and other things that you need to complete the order. Knowing that you can't really control and lower that cost if tariffs are here to stay, there are other ways that you can still be maintain the same level of profit and margins, and that is through automation. Um, if you think about it, if you think about how your cost breakdown is in terms of an order, it's a combination of the time that you spend making that order, and then the hard cost of what is my thread cost, or what's my ink cost, what's my blank cost, right? Those are the hard input costs that you would have to buy to be able to complete that order, and then the soft costs are kind of your labor and time. So if your hard costs are going to go up with your supplies, and that's out of your control, what you can control is being more efficient and using automation to save you time. Because if your hard cost goes up, but you're able to be more efficient, your soft cost in terms of your labor and time goes down, and you're able to balance the two out, right? So if you can imagine a situation where you can be more efficient with an order. You can cut the time in half with completing a particular order, because you have better equipment, because you have larger equipment that can fulfill kind of a certain quantity of orders in volume. All of that is going to save you time. So having the good equipment in place good processes and automation so that it can speed up your production process. All of that is going to save you time and therefore lower your labor cost, while your hard costs might be increasing. And so that's going to offset and still make you profitable in the long run. Granted, on top of that, this situation that I just mentioned is if your hard costs are increasing and your soft costs are decreasing, and you're not even passing on any of those hard costs to your customer, you're still able to kind of maintain a certain margin, and then that margin is going to be even better if you're able to kind of offset some of that cost to the end user. And combine that with the second thing that I mentioned before about adding more value in that order, right? So that you can justify the price increase. If you're able to increase some of your prices, justify it with more value add, and be more efficient in your production, that's going to help you kind of have that spread in the margin to help offset the price increase. Okay, so that is kind of the three tips that I wanted to give you. Now, people are also kind of, we've also made an announcement on this, but people were also kind of asking, well, what's going to happen with some of the, um, you know, uh, products and machine prices that we have here, right? So we've, this is a good segue into, kind of talking about that, right? With the tariffs kind of in place, even though it might change, um, we are going to raise prices on May 1st. So we made an announcement, I believe, in early April when the tariff situation was just shaking out, that we'll be holding prices firm until May 1st. So it gives you some time to kind of prepare and to navigate kind of what your equipment needs are, so that you can, if you were thinking about purchasing something, this might be a good time to do so before prices go up. We're not sure yet how much the price increase is going to be on May 1st, because we're still monitoring the situation and how tariffs are actually going to pan out. But the good thing is, and the reason why we were able to kind of hold prices firm, even though the tariffs went into effect on April 9th, we're able to hold prices firm until May 1st, is also because we have a good amount of inventory that we prepared for prior to the tariffs going into effect. And so a lot of that is going to be kind of given to the to businesses at the original cost, right? So that's why a lot of the prices aren't going up until May 1st. Some of the car dealerships are also raising prices also in like May or June. But yeah, we were able to kind of analyze our costs, and given the inventory that is still in stock prior to the tariffs going into place, we were able to make the decision that we'll hold prices firm, at least for now, until May 1st. And then towards the end of this month, we'll kind of evaluate, one, the inventory situation and how much inventory is left, and also kind of maybe the tariffs situation will change, and that might change kind of our outlook on the prices. But I would say that I am very confident in our ability to still be very competitive, and to help out embroidery and print businesses here in the U.S. For several reasons. One, because we're the manufacturer, we can be more flexible in kind of our margins, right? If tariffs goes up, tariff goes down, we're in control of kind of how we position our products, and because we're the manufacturer, the cost is much lower than someone that is just reselling a machine. So we can pass on a lot of those savings to the consumer, and basically, or in this kind of inflationary environment when tariffs are going up, a better way to put it is not have to pass on all of those costs, fully to the end user. So that is something that we are monitoring very closely. And the second reason why I'm very confident that we're still going to be very competitive, even if the tariffs are here to stay, even if the 145% tariffs are here to stay, which I don't think that it is. But that's just my personal opinion, because I think it's like a lose-lose situation for both countries, because the economies of both countries are going to be impacted if prolonged tariffs and high tariffs are going to be here to stay. So, but that being said, even if the 145% tariffs are to stay, my thought is that because we're so well positioned in the market, and I've kind of done some research with some of the other machines out there. One example that I came across, and I'll kind of share this with you guys to give you an idea of what that looks like, even with tariffs. Okay, um, our two-head embroidery machine right now, I believe is like $19,000, right? It's like 18,995 or 19,995. So like right under $20,000. That's the cost of our two-head machine, right? I saw on a website a competitor of ours selling a happy two-head machine. All right. Same exact two head, 15 needles. We even have 20 needle versions of the two heads, but just apples to apples, our 15 needle two head machine is around $19,000. And guess how much I saw that happy two head machine for? Actually, that would be a good poll to just before I reveal the actual answer. I kind of wanted to see what people think a comparable two-head machine, and mind you, this is without tariffs, right? Because the uh, the um, the happy machines are made in Japan, and Japan has I think a 10% tariff, and a 90-day pause. So really, it's not the 10% is not really that much. And mind you, this is kind of before any tariff conversations. This is the price of a happy two-head machine. So let me know in the poll in the comments, what you think a comparable two-head machine fit, like a 15 needle two-head full size machine goes for on the market. Also knowing that like ours is 19 that I told you, right? So like knowing that, what do you think is a comparable price on the market? All right, I'll give a couple of moments for the polls to come in. So the choices are: it's a comparable two-head machine is 15,000, 20,000, which is right around kind of what ours is, even though ours is like right under 20,000, 25,000, or 30,000 and over. All right. There's still a couple of votes. About 20 people have voted so far. Yeah, if you're on Facebook, you can just type in the comments below But if you're on YouTube, you can actually kind of vote. You can click the different options. It's like a multiple choice. So if you're on YouTube, go ahead and vote in the poll, and just let me know what you think it is. All right. So some people on Facebook, I'll just show some of the comments while we kind of still wait for last minute votes. Some people on Facebook saying 27,000. Some people saying 26,000, 23,500. Okay. All right. So we've closed the poll. Um, this is the final result. 50% of you said 25,000. Okay, pretty good guess. 27% of you. So that's the highest percentage. Half of you said 25,000. 27% of you, so a little bit over a quarter of you said 20,000. 13% of you said 15,000, and 9% of you said 30,000 or over. Okay, so the actual correct answer is 30,000 or over. The actual price of a Happy two-head machine that I saw, a comparable 15 needle machine, was 47,000. Okay, 47,000, and that's without any tariffs. That is without any tariffs. So even if we raise the prices on May 1st because of tariffs, without tariffs, we're less than half of what the Happy two head costs. Even if we raise it, it's still going to be like 30-40% below the competition for a comparable machine. So that's the reason why. That's the second reason why I'm very confident that this is going to be minimal impact, because we'll do whatever we can to make sure that the businesses are not impacted by these tariffs if they're here to stay. Right. So things are changing by the day, but just from seeing that, it kind of tells me that even without the tariffs in place, we're already very, very competitive on these equipment. And with the tariffs, there's still a sizable difference. There's a sizable gap, and that's because the manufacturing and what we're able to control, us being the manufacturer, is have so much more control than someone just reselling the machine, right? So a lot of these, the example that I gave you of the 47,000 on a Happy two-head machine is certainly someone that is reselling the machine, right? They're importing from Japan, and then they're reselling that machine here in the U.S. And so the middleman has to make a margin too, right? They have to make a living too. So and with that, you're going to have to, and the factory has to make a margin. But us being the factory, it kind of like we can kind of navigate the situation in the whole supply chain to absorb a lot of the costs along the way before it gets to you, before it actually gets to the businesses that are buying these pieces of equipment. But as a distributor, you really can't, because you're at the mercy of the manufacturer. But if you're the manufacturer and the distributor, then you have a lot more control. So I think just from seeing that one example, it really kind of gave me the confidence to say that, yeah, even if tariffs are here to stay and at these like really elevated levels, I think you'll still find that it's going to be very competitive in terms of price versus a lot of the competition. That's just kind of the reality of the situation, right? And you're getting a comparable machine, sometimes even a much better in terms of specs and technology, right? We have our 10S control panels, the latest and greatest. You got this 20 needle machine that's right behind me. All of that is nothing on the market is 20 needles. So all of that is more value add, as I was saying, to businesses that are purchasing these machines, and the prices don't have to go up that much. We can absorb a lot of that along the supply chain. Okay, so that's kind of the news of what we're doing with the tariff situation. So if you're kind of in the market and you're thinking about buying a machine, this will be a good time to do that before prices go up on May 1st. If you're thinking about Deco Summit, as I mentioned, do kind of take advantage of the flash sale before prices go up on also on May 1st, and that was not planned, and was kind of a coincidence. We decided that prices were going to go up, in phases for Deco Summit a long time ago. It just happened to be the tariffs were in April, and then we decided to look at our inventory and increase the prices on machines on May 1st. So this question I'm kind of going through some of the questions now. But if you have any questions, kind of about tariffs or about what I talked about any of this, feel free to chime in below. This question from Janelle Porter is interesting. Just out of curiosity, is there a huge difference between the way a Ricoma two-head runs and a Happy two-head? I've not done a lot of research on the Happy brand machines. So I personally haven't ran them, so I can't really tell you. But I would say this: I would be, and I've spoken with a lot of different people, and I've also spoken with people that used to work at Tajima. Okay, people that used to work there, and now they've come out. They're still they're not in the industry anymore, but they've worked at Tajima for like 4 or 5 years. In sales, okay, and even though it's not about Happy in particular, but I think if you're talking about different brand machines, I think this is what I'm about to tell you is very telling. All right, this is what a Tajima rep told me, or ex rep has told me, that if you put two sew outs side by side, one from a Ricoma, one from Tajima, or one from Ricoma, one from Happy, he will give you like $1,000 that if you can tell with 100% certainty which one is which. And there's literally like, yeah, there might be some differences, but it's not really like visible to the naked eye. And really, when there are differences, it's not that like one is good versus bad. It's like they all kind of, they have their own mechanism and their own ways of sewing it out. So you see some stitching differences, but it's just a different way of doing things. It's not the same software or firmware or hardware. So you're going to have the differences, but it's very not noticeable, and certainly not to the point where you can say one is better than the other. And these were his exact words. He's like, I would be surprised if someone can take two stitch outs and place them side by side, and you can tell me with certainty which one is which. And he's been in the industry. He's worked in the industry. If the people in the industry working at Tajima or used to work at Tajima can't even tell you that, I think that tells you kind of essentially the crux of your question, what the answer is, right? It's that it's hard to tell that there's a huge difference. Now the differences might be in in how the buttons are pressed, and the control panel, and some of the interface like that. There's going to be a distinguishable difference there in terms of user experience. But frankly, I think that's one of the areas that we really excel in minimizing the friction and be able to have a very a seamless and sleek user experience, especially with our latest 10S panel, fully touchscreen and fully responsive. But in terms of the actual sew out, the actual stitch, even people in the industry, through a blind test, if you guys know, like back in the day, you have like the Coke and Pepsi challenge, right? That's kind of like the blind taste test. in a similar way, if you put two sew outs side by side and don't tell you which one is from which machine, it will be really hard to tell. If you put out if you put out like 10 different sew outs, or five different sew outs from five different brands, chances are you won't be able to tell a lot of the difference. Between a Ricoma, between a Happy, a Melco, Tajima, a Baradin, it's going to be very difficult to tell which one is from what. And that's from people kind of in the industry that have been doing this for quite some time. This person from YouTube asks, how much is the machine that does chenille stitching? So yeah, we have a chenille and embroidery machine combo. That one is about just under 35,000. All right, so it's a two-head machine, one head 40 chenille, one head embroidery, so that you can kind of like seamlessly move between the two. You can do chenille, like a chenille patch, and then you can embroider like the border, and then so it moves between the two heads. That's a chenille and embroidery combo machine, what we call like a 1+1, and that one is around 35,000. Yeah, Linda Russell here also said, I had a service tech come out that services all brands, and he said my Ricoma is the same as the Tajima. He was impressed. Yeah, I think that's the especially from techs that really service all different brands of machines, and they've seen it all, right? Even the most experienced techs can't tell you. They would be lying to you if they tell you, like, if you give them two stitch outs and they tell you like, oh yeah, this is from this machine and that's from that machine. It's almost impossible to tell. And so technology has advanced so much these days that it's pretty much the same. Now there's going to be some nuances and differences, sure, but it's also more so in the how the machine operates, how it's used, the user experience, as well as the service and support, and the training, and obviously the pricing, right? If you can get your return on investment that much faster with the same stitch out, but one is cost half of the as the other, why wouldn't you go with the less expensive option? All right, so I hope that answered your question, Janelle. We're running up to the top of the hour here. We still have to do our giveaway, but if you guys have any other questions, feel free to chime in below. I'll be happy to answer those. Hope Yoder here said, chenille machine is on my bucket list. I love knowing that you're in Miami. I have the support in US that speaks English, priceless. Thank you for that, Hope. And I believe Hope has one of our two-head machines and the creator as well. So she definitely, and both of them with the 10S panel. So the 10S panel is definitely a game changer. Actually, and in fact, I find it kind of funny, but it's people are always, the competition is also innovating and things like that, right? So after we're the first one to come out with kind of a fully responsive 10-inch control panel on the market, and after we've done that, Melco recently came out with a touchscreen panel, and for the longest time, for like 10, 20 years, they've always had no touchscreen. And many of you that, if you have Melco or know about Melco, has definitely experienced this, where you have to connect a laptop to their machine in order for it to run, because there's no actual control panel on the machine that's standalone. So all the operating system is on your laptop. And so if you have a Mac, you can't run. It's a PC only system, and that was one of the limitations. And after we came out with the 10S panel, I see a lot of competition kind of upgrading their control panels to kind of be more in line. So we're definitely kind of the pioneer and setting the tone for kind of what should be the standard in terms of technology in the embroidery market. This question from Machine Embroidery Made Easy: what print-on-demand model does Ricoma offer? Great question. So to help out with a lot of businesses that might not have the upfront capital to purchase a piece of equipment, we actually all do offer a print on demand model where um, you can just buy a heat press and you get credits for DTF transfers. Or if you don't want, if you already have a heat press, you can just buy DTF transfers from us on our online store. And basically, we print them here for you. We cut them up and then we ship them to you. Or if you print like a roll, we just kind of roll up the whole roll, put it in a roll, and ship that out to you. And you can cut it in any way you want to then transfer onto different garments. So that's kind of the print on demand model that we offer, where you don't have to stock up a lot of designs. You don't even have to have equipment if you don't have the budget for it just yet, and you can order transfers to then transfer onto different garments. Obviously, if you have equipment, you have more control, better turnaround time, as well as making higher margins when you print them, on your own. But we understand that not everyone can spare $25,000 for a printer right off the bat, and you might have to build up to that point, and you can have order transfers in the meantime. And with our loyalty program, that's part of the if you're a customer, if you're ordering transfers, you get loyalty points that then you can use towards buying a machine. So that you kind of like by building up your customer base, and by building up your business and you're ordering transfers, you can build up towards have credit towards buying a machine down the road once you're at that stage. Okay. I think those are all the questions that I see. Just this last comment from Hope. I use Mac and I love that Chroma works with Mac, and I do love my two Ricoma 10S panels. I highly recommend. Yeah. So for those of you that don't know, our Chroma digitizing software works with Mac and PC. One of the only ones that's compatible with both systems on the market. And so it gives you the flexibility to not be tied, especially with a lot of people that does design and therefore want to go into digitizing. They already have a Mac, and so you don't have to buy a PC to use our digitizing software with Chroma. Yeah, you can run parallel, but then it will kind of run slower. It's more cumbersome. This is natively compatible with Mac. Evelyn Warner asked, "Are you familiar with Maya machines?" No, I think I've seen them once at a trade show in China, but they're quite small. I haven't seen many of them here in the U.S. So if you were to buy, I would assume that you're buying directly from over there. Which, by the way, there is that 145% tariff, and you're responsible for that because you're the importer. You're buying it to bring it here. So just something to consider. Okay, so for today's giveaway, we are, since I mentioned about the flash sale, we are giving away one general admission Deco Summit ticket. And by the way, the flash sale does go on till this Friday. So if you don't win this ticket, you can still get them for 20% off the already discounted prices on the website by using the code April20. All right, April20. Use that, and you can get an additional 20% off either general admission or VIP tickets on the website at decosummit.com. Use the code April20. Okay. For the giveaway, we're going to be announcing one winner for the general admission ticket to Deco Summit. So that's going to be, I believe, like we will kind of send you the code to claim it, and then you can claim it on the website. And then we hope to meet you here at Deco Summit. All right. So comment the word Deco if you want to win in the comments below. I already see quite a few people here. Janelle said Deco. All right. And then you got Evelyn, Mitch Jones. All right. Comment Deco if you want to win the free ticket. Okay. All right, let's see who's going to be the winner. All right. So the winner for our one free Deco Summit general admission ticket, it's going to be someone from YouTube, and it's going to be T Imprints. That's TEE Imprints from YouTube. T Imprints, are you here? Did you comment Deco? T Imprints, make sure you're here. We'll give it a couple of seconds. T Imprints, no, yes, no. No, yes, no, no. T Imprints, all right. He says, yeah. All right. T Imprints, congrats on getting the Deco Summit ticket. I don't know where you're from. Let me know in the comments below where you're located. Are you kind of local, or are you gonna travel here? But regardless, we will send you the. Our team will reach out to you on a private chat to give you the code to redeem the ticket, and then you can, hopefully you make good use of it, and we'll see you here. You can also, take advantage of the 20% off on the flash sale with April 20 to, buy one for a partner or a spouse to travel here with you. All right. So yeah, our team will reach out. And as for the rest of you, take advantage of the flash sale when you can. We also have that 20% off, not only on Deco Summit tickets, but quite a few things on sale on shop.ricoma.com. So we will we have a lot of things on sale there as well. Oh, T Imprint said that he's from the San Francisco Bay Area. Awesome. So, well, it's a bit of a trek, but certainly hope to see you here, flying in from the West Coast here to Deco Summit. It's always good to come to Miami, anyways. So, all right, for the rest of you, I hope you kind of got something out of this session, at least how to deal with tariffs. A quick reminder that our prices for our embroidery machines do go up on May 1st. So if you're in the market and want to take advantage before they go up, we don't know by how much yet. We'll kind of evaluate that at the end of this month, but they will be going up. And we'll be monitoring the situation. So if you want to take advantage of that, talk to a product specialist and get in on that before prices go up. Congrats once again to T Imprints for the as the winner of the Deco Summit General Admission ticket. And I hope you guys kind of learn a few things and implement some of these strategies to keep yourself prepared, for any changing environment, especially during a time of uncertainty, where it's impacting everyone. All right. So with that said, I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much for joining, and we'll kind of stay tuned on this tariff situation, and hopefully have an update this time next month in our next live stream. All right. Thank you guys so much, and see you next time.
There you go. One step at a time.
Challenges, right? And that's what you guys are here for, right? You guys are here because you have challenges or questions that you want answers to.
Because you only have one chance to make a first impression.
Deco Summit is very different than a typical trade show that we attend. Everybody is here to network and learn.
Here at Deco Summit, I'm honored to be one of the speakers. I was talking about how to grow your business and find customers, and then I get to be a student. So I've been in some